I've been working on something massive, and it's really to solve this pretty large problem in this industry when it comes to attribution. So many attribution softwares are incredibly expensive, and they're basically using modeled data, which is essentially just they're guessing. It's the same with Google and Facebook. Basically, when you have a conversion that comes in that's being reported through Meta or Google, it's based off of what they think actually happened. And it's typically on Meta, the last click. And so you're not actually getting the data to the true kind of top of funnel ads. This is so huge because I have ultimately figured out a really cost-effective way to get data for every single person that goes to your website, where they're coming from, and basically their complete path and user journey. And why this changes everything is because, there's a lot of small businesses that are running Facebook and they're running Google and they're running all these different things, but they're just not sure like where they initially came from. Just yesterday, working with a brand, there was a conversion that we basically were able to track to this specific person, and we were able to see the whole user journey. And the crazy thing is, both Google and Meta took credit for that one person. Now, Meta on the bottom of funnel campaigns took the credit, not in the top of funnel. And on Google, the top of funnel Google campaign ended up getting the attribution. But what really actually happened was that there was an ad in the top of funnel where the person actually ended up seeing and clicking, and that's where they initially came from. And then what they ended up doing is they saw a retargeting ad on Facebook, came back to the website, and then they went and Googled. So then they went to Google and basically typed in the search term, and then they landed on the site. And then they went back and were hit with a top of funnel ad on Facebook, came back to the website. And like this happened several times. And the crazy thing here is, until this moment, we would never have known that that top of funnel ad was the one specifically that drove that person to the website initially. And then everything else just kind of flocked to it and was like, okay, let me remarket to this person. This person seems interested. And so being able to establish proper data is so essential going forward when you're running Google ads, Meta ads, LinkedIn ads, Reddit ads, any sort of ad platform, and being able to get the true picture. GA4 is broken. Google Tag, if you're running basically everything off of Google Tag, the reason why you're not getting the attribution to that is because it's dependent on the load speed of your website. And so if you're ending up having even a fairly fast website, it is dependent on that pixel firing. Now, attribution gets lost as people go through the funnel and as people go through different pages. And then attribution ultimately gets lost too when people go to like the Shopify checkout. It doesn't actually bring in those UTM parameters. And so you have to be able to identify this person is the same person. They ended up coming here on this day through this campaign, and then this was their complete user journey. Shopify reported it as a Google conversion, but truly it was a Facebook conversion. And so now we're basically putting everything through a conversion API to ultimately ping back to Google and to Meta only the conversions that are actually truly happening on the top of funnel campaigns. And so we're going to feed the top of funnel campaigns with that data and stop optimizing for just kind of, Meta's and Google's, modeled data, what they think is happening. I'm looking for some people to basically test this on. The cost is, fairly minimal, especially as it relates to like attribution software. The setup is it's a fairly big setup, but I'm looking for people to ultimately join me and figure out that I can beta test this on. It will never be this cheap to basically do this setup to get this type of data. And so I'm looking for people who are wanting to get that data for a very inexpensive cost, and then allow me to basically work with them in figuring out dashboards that can really give you truly new versus returning customers, visitors, where people actually came from initially, and then attributing that back into the platforms and feeding things the right way. So if that's you, contact me at artur@realgrowthpartner.com. And I'd love to I think this is huge. This is massive. And I'm telling you, the cost of this is incredibly low comparatively to the attribution software that's out there. And the data is just so accurate. So anyway, if you're looking to try and figure out how all of these different channels work together, just let me know. And I look forward to basically just kind of beta testing this over the next couple of months. But I'm telling you, you're going to see things in a way that you've never seen it before. I'm truly excited for what is going to come from this. But shoot me an email. Let me know if you're interested, and we'll hop on a call and just kind of talk about all the details. And once you have this data, then you can truly optimize. Then you truly know what's working. And man, you'll never need to guess again when it comes to marketing. Anyway, excited for this and excited for you to join me. And yeah, I'll see you next week.